Good morning. I'm Maria Heege, President and CEO of United Way of Greater Stark County. I was so happy that you're joining us virtually. I wish we could have been together this morning, but the safety of our community is our most important priority. Joining me this morning is our board chair, Judge Michael Howard, and our campaign chair, Christopher Goff. Today, you're going to hear stories of hope, of inspiration, of individuals who were helped through our COVID-19 Impact Fund. Your donation and support truly changes lives, especially in times of hardship. I'm constantly reminded of the generosity of our community through people like you. Together, we will help our community come through this crisis and we'll recover even stronger. And that's why our campaign theme this year is United, we see what's possible. Others see challenges, we see potential. We see a community where everyone can reach their highest potential through healthy lifestyles, education, and being stronger financially. With your support, we will build this strong community together, united. A brighter future is within reach, and when we live united, we do see what's possible. And now it's my pleasure to introduce to you our board chair, Judge Michael Howard.
Good morning. This year's pandemic brought a tremendous amount of hardship and loss to our community. And it's not over. Many of our friends and neighbors are still struggling with the impact. At United Way, we work to create long-term lasting change by addressing the root causes of problems in the community. But in times of crisis, times like this, we can pivot to provide immediate assistance to those in need. Earlier this year, we established our COVID-19 Impact Fund. It is designed to provide mortgage and rent assistance to families who have lost their jobs or had their hours reduced because of the pandemic. Thanks to the generosity of our community, we have raised over $260,000 and helped more than 230 households, but we still have 110 households that need our help. With your help today, we want to raise $5,000 for the COVID Impact Fund within the next 24 hours. To donate, text STARK, S-T-A-R-K, to 50503. That's STARK to 50503. Please consider donating today to help a neighbor in need. Now we are going to hear from a few United Way staff members who have worked directly with some of the families that have received help from the COVID Fund thanks to your generosity. First up, Tyron Hoyston. Tyron is the coordinator of personal finance, and he will share a story of a young woman who gave birth during the pandemic. Tyron?
Thank you, Judge. Of all the families that I've had the privilege of serving with the COVID-19 Impact Fund, there's one in particular that sticks out. It was a young family, a young couple, a young husband, young wife. They were working 40 hours a week at a restaurant, and they had a young family. It was about to get bigger. They had a bun in the oven. And then, like for so many of us, the bottom fell out with COVID-19, and they were both laid off. Fortunately, the news of our COVID-19 Impact Fund came as a relief because this young wife, she applied, and we worked with her. We got all the information needed to approve her, but when we called to approve her, well, of course, plot twist, she had went into labor and we couldn't get in touch with her. And because of health restrictions, she was in the hospital all by herself. No family, no nothing. She had to be there by herself. But when she went home with her healthy baby boy, we were able to get in touch with her and let her know that she had been approved. It was a good day for her, and it was a really good day for us here too. That's my story. Next, Flo Janani, our director of Project Blueprint, will share her story of a family of 8 and their struggles with COVID-19.
Thank you, Tyron. So I had the pleasure of working with a young lady who was in her early 30s. She was a married mother of 6, and she had been working in the healthcare field. She had always been very self-sufficient and never had to ask for help before, so this was a pretty humbling experience for her. The reason she had to ask for help is that she and her husband and 5 of their 6 kids all tested positive for COVID-19. which meant that she and her husband had to be quarantined at home with not being able to work, so no pay for several weeks, which put her behind on many of her bills, including her rent. So she was pretty excited when she heard about the United Way COVID Rental Assistance Fund. So while I was working with her to approve her application, she was sharing with me how difficult it was to be sick and to have 5 of your 6 children sick and your husband sick and still have to provide for them and take care of them. She said that all of them had varying levels of symptomology, but that hers were some of the worst. So it was such a struggle to not feel well, but still take care of her kids. Since they were all sick, she was not able to have people come over and take care of her kids like we do sometimes when things are rough. And she was also not able to send them anywhere because they were sick and they would get other people sick. However, because of the COVID-19 fund, we were able to make their lives a little bit easier because you donated. So thank you for offering support during their time of need. Next, Brittany Paliswat, the manager of workforce engagement, will share a story about a man that we were able to support while he was working remotely from home.
Thank you, Flo. Good morning. I was so fortunate to be able to support a gentleman that was in his mid-80s. This gentleman was still working, but then in March, like many others, he faced layoffs. And so he was able to stay stable through that time by providing that extra support from unemployment as well as the social security that him and his wife received. But when he returned to work in May, remote status, he had an increase of utility bills because he had to add on that extra utility of internet that he wasn't paying before, as well as that delay between his last pay through unemployment and his first paycheck back at work. So that put him a little bit behind. So by the time that he came to us, he was facing an eviction notice in his home. And so we were able to support paying that eviction, getting his payments down so that his balance was paid, and he was also able to find some stability while he was transitioning back into the workplace. The other fun thing about him, while we were spending time with him, he learned how to take a picture on his phone and text message it. So I was able to see his actual smile come through. And that smile will always be embedded in my heart as he was just shining through gratitude and joy for us to be able to help him and keep him safe and secure in his home. So thank you so much from our hearts, but also from his heart. And hopefully his smile brightens your day too. Today, I'm going to turn over now to Robin Seaman, our Director of Financial Stability Programs, to share a story about a 52-year-old entrepreneur.
Thank you, Brittany. I had the good fortune of working with a lady in her early 50s who, for the last 15 years, had been working with individuals and small businesses in the community. Actually, she worked with over 350 vendors. She had a small business where she would assist these businesses in marketing and holding events to showcase their products. Traditionally, she would work extremely long hours trying to fulfill the needs and to give a better opportunity for these small businesses to be successful. And her most recent venture was a retail store where these businesses could be housed. As you can imagine, when the COVID-19 hit, there was a pandemic. The pandemic threw just a complete monkey wrench in the whole thing. The small businesses, along with the retail place, had to shut their doors. She dreaded telling them the news, but she reached out on March 16th and notified each of those small vendors that the doors were closing, and unfortunately, there was nothing she could do about it, and she wished them best. Immediately, she went online to apply for unemployment benefits, but at the end of the day, she didn't qualify. There was no benefit in place so far for individuals that were small business owners or owned their own business and operated it. However, the government had set up a pandemic unemployment benefit that would be available in the future. But meanwhile, she was in a pinch. She didn't know what to do. Her rent was due. She was not used to reaching out and asking others for help. In the process of that, she was very excited to find out that we did have an opportunity for her to get her rent paid, and then she could still pay her retail space rent and be okay. So far, at this point, with everything she had done in searching in the community, the only thing she qualified for was SNAP benefits. So she had food on her table, but nonetheless, her rent was late already for April. She was desperately looking for assistance. She was almost in a panic mode when she called me. She didn't want to get behind. She felt if she got behind that and didn't pay her rent, it would just dig a deeper hole for her. And she felt she needed to be responsible. And she said she knew that she would be able to do this when the pandemic unemployment came in, but she just needed a little bit of assistance, and whatever we could do to help, she would return tenfold. Through the COVID-19 fund, we were able to help her with her rent in the month of April. When I reached out to tell her she had been approved, she was just so grateful. Her exact words to me was that, "Thank you so much." She said, "What a blessing this is. I cannot express my appreciation enough for the help." She was so grateful that the programs like this fund were available in our community to help families and to help people, to help them grow stronger and to remain stable. Your donations helped her navigate some really difficult times. Thank you for providing recovery funds for the pandemic and for the COVID-19 dollars. Finally, I have the opportunity to turn it over to our 2020 campaign chair, Chris Goff, CEO of Employers Health. He's going to talk to you a little bit about the challenges our community is facing right now.
Thank you, Robin, and good morning, everyone. The stories you just heard offer a small glimpse into the hardships facing our community, but they also show the immense power that you have to change them. Our goal this year is to raise $5.1 million by December 10th. This will help fund critical programs and services for Stark and Carroll counties. Last year, we set an aggressive goal, and our community came through to achieve and surpass that goal. We know that in these challenging times, businesses and individuals, our supporters, are also struggling, so this year's goal reflects the current economic conditions. Today, we are asking for your support. As you heard from the stories shared today and countless others like them, your support is needed now more than ever. Here's what we need to do. As Judge Howard said, we need to raise $5,000 in the next 24 hours to get this campaign kicked off. And I will repeat how you do that by texting STARK to 50503. That's STARK to 50503. Let's break through this goal and watch the thermometer rise together. And I have it on my phone, so I'm going to pull it up because right now we've already received a $100 donation thanks to Judge Howard's earlier comments. And I'm hoping that others will join in now and text to STARK, STARK, to 50503. And we'll give this about 20 or 30 seconds and see what kind of money we can raise this morning. So again, STARK, STARK, to 50503. We've got another $100 donation that just came in. Again, that's STARK, and the number is 50503. And you can continue to make donations throughout the remainder of the day on your cell phone to that number. And we'll wrap up with our presentation today by telling our donors how much we appreciate what they have done thus far. And we want to thank our future donors. We have 24 hours to meet this $5,000 goal, and we have till December 10th to reach our $5.1 million goal for this calendar year. We're confident that with your help, we can meet today's goal of $5,000 and reach our overall goal for the campaign of $5.1 million. Let's build a brighter future together and see what's possible. We appreciate you joining us this morning. Thank you for your support, and thank you for living united.